Welcome back to CBS4K, and this is Throne of Decay. Malakai Malakai Mackison. We're looking at his blog post and basically a general idea of what the dwarfs rework will look like. So, I could bore you with various other things going on with the channel and that you should subscribe and hit the like button. But we'll skip all that and just go right into the details, shall we? We don't have all day. Oh, I moved pretty quickly there. Okay, let's calm down. Let's breathe. Okay. You guys ready? Was once a member of Engineering Gear, where he built the Ironclad Unsinkable, which sank, and Airship Indestructible, which blew up as a result of those errors, costing many dwarven life. In the process, Mackison was rejected with great shame and took the Slayer Oath in turn. Ooh. Taking the Slayer Oath? Oof. Oh well. You know, we all gotta take a Slayer Oath from time to time. At a glance, here's what he brings to the dwarves. A Slayer! As a Slayer, he's unbreakable, with benefiting from all the advantages that Slayers bring to the battlefield. Engineer. As an engineer, Malakai supports missile units with an array of abilities, increasing the capabilities to wreak havoc and doom on the enemy. Spirit of Grungy. Enabling recruitment of Malakai forces, supporting infrastructure, and ability call support during battle from famed airship itself. Wow. That should be interesting. I wonder what the gunship will do. I guess we'll have to read on to find out. Malakai's adventures by completing preparations and improving different war machines and artillery. Malakai can push the feats of his engineering prowess in epic battles and earn valuable upgrades for the Spirit of Grungy. Those are Malakai's adventures. It's a nice little picture of him. Despite his reputation, just carry on. You were an excellent war machine. Bring support, Lord. Missions with it, he can target specific allied missiles, units, missile strength imbued with magical attacks. Increasing missile damage and range. That's going to be good. That's going to add to missile units. By the way, the meta in this game is essentially missile based. For the most part, I mean, you can use melee and other things, melee infantry and other things to get an upper hand, but it's mostly a missile-based game. Say your history as an inventor. To push forward both his goal, oath as a slayer, and his history as an inventor war. In battle, whether it be against a stronger beast or monster. And sin. All the sins, slayers, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to read the whole thing to you guys because I feel like you guys can sort of get the general idea. But it looks like we're going to have another Arsenal workshop similar to what we got with Decay. And I think with a new wizard lady too. Draken. Yeah. Upon learning, if you want to see more about that, go click on the video. It should be in my YouTube channel. And also, check out this article in full detail in the description. It should be there, hopefully. If the dwarfs are successful in defeating a legendary battle, there's a reward with something new, something to holster their abilities of his greatest creation ever. The Spirit of Grungi. To evade escaping forces that struck Listenland and Roos Mass. This fine fortress of a ferocity is peak dwarven engineering, and yet Malakai wants to push this masterful creation further by achieving victory in his adventures, as explained above, can improve the Spirit of Grungi with valuable upgrades to the famed ship. This is a wide area of campaign map, quickly firing supplies and forces around the world. It grants him access to Napier recruitment and infrastructural support, and may be called upon into battle itself to support the war effort down below. Regmar Iron Fist is one of the... Okay. Son of the Ungrim Iron Fist. He's a Slayer. He took the Slayer oath. Mm-hmm. Demands the hands of where the foe seeks the day comes. Okay. Well, that sounds like a good hero unit. Again, it's another melee hero unit. Slayers of Demons and Dragon. Okay. New Lord, a bolster of the Dwarven Empire. Okay. Demon Slayer. A new generic lord for dwarves. Smashes through countless trolls, giants, dragons to the point where in prison it's just old hat for him. Having killed so many beasts in battle, the Demon Slayer commits to taking down the mightiest of all foes. Mightiest foes of all, the demons of chaos. With loose grip on sanity, the Demon Slayer is frightening leader, driven mad by his own shameful curse, continued survival against all odds. Well, that's a kind of a curse that many of us wish we had. As a melee specialist, the Slayer excels in bona fide demon killing, dealing magical damage intrinsically, buffing nearby Slayers as the leader. With the active ability, A Glorious Death, this lord triggers an effect makes both himself and Slayers around him unkillable for a short time. When at last he is beset by a true warrior, the passive ability Worthy Foe grants him increased melee attacks, weapon strength when fighting an enemy that inflicts terror. Wow, that's a new ability. That's a good ability, actually. So if something has terror, he goes up against it. He's actually incredibly powerful. That, you know what? Yes to that. I hope more units get that ability. And not just him. The Dragon Slayer, a new heroic unit of dwarves, is a rarity of itself. Often traveling alone, shunning all contact with fellow dwarves, the Slayer of Dragons searches far and wide for fire-breathing beasts, ready to bring them down about their end. As a melee specialist, the Dragon Killer of dwarves is built, felling large entities, resistant to flame attacks, and like the Demon Slayer is searching for a worthy foe to destroy. A mighty doom awaits. So I like these two new units, these two new lords, and this here lord and hero. I think it adds a level of dimension to a Slayer army that wasn't there before. Like, you can actually have a powerful Slayer army if you do it right. Like, especially with their ability to fight off fear, to fight terror units, to just destroy terror units. That is such a good ability. Because terror units are, I wouldn't say they're strong, but they do have a nice buff in that they basically cause units to break easier. With this ability, it makes them less terrifying. It makes the dwarf much more fearsome foe to face. It makes the dwarves more formidable. Just with these two units right here, slightly more formidable. Doomseekers. Doomseekers are lone wolves of the dwarf army. Magic resistant wards tattooed all over their body for protection. Their unhinged minds are made dangerous by the accident. Attached to chains. Oh yeah, they look like Claridos. Before them, for some serious damage. With Whirl and Death, the Doomsayers spin around in a spot to create a dwarven vortex of pain, dealing major damage to enemies within range, blends them into chunks. This serves fine addition to any army looking to bring the wards of Rummy to the front lines. Boosting wards says that more blood is spilled. Even Slayers are known to keep their distance from the Seekers of Doom. That's a good ability. Slayer Pirates! Okay. Dwarven Sea Slayers, often known as Slayer Pirates, were once traders turned piracy on seven seas after the misplacement of some dwarven ale. In an event so harrowing that even the most strong-willed dwarf could crumble at the mere thought of it. That's some silliness right there. I like that. They now take the moniker of mercenaries, searching for long-lost loot, returning to their rightful owners. For a price, of course. With a cutlass in one hand and a pistol in the other, Slayer Pirates are a textbook missile infantry unit for dwarves. First one with firearms to keep forces of evil at bay. As for a few lucky RO Slayer Pirates, regiments of renowned pirates found in the Lost Dwarf Rum, they may come to find that enemy melee attacks don't hit as hard as they used to. Drink responsibly. Yes. Okay, as I see another one coming up. Looks like there is Grudge Raker. Okay, Blunderbuss. Okay, that's a good range unit. We have a range / melee unit here. We have I would say a melee unit. But a little bit of range, a little bit of specialty. That could be used. Yeah, so they're like Thunderers, but they follow the commands from adapting. With new weapons though, as they can keep a one-handed axe. Okay. Double barrel shotgun prototype. Okay, so it's much more of a close range thing. I guess it does a little bit more damage. I think that might work. Another. I'll say like that's so boring. So another artillery unit. But this artillery unit seems the guy throwing axes, lethal speed, touch of the enemy dwarfs, stakes, chains, slayers. Once Goblin Hunter has been expanded or similar, the crew charges headlong into battle to keep the blood flowing. Time to reap what you sow. Okay. Burst damage artillery. Okay, so it causes like burst damage into an area. That's useful for the dwarves because they do have enough of that already, but one more can't hurt. Plus, it adds to the Slayer army that can be built, which is always a good idea. Thunder Barge. It's not just an old port in the storm that lasts a heavy centerpiece. One of a kind Thunder Barge. This airborne warship is bolted by bomb racks, cannons, Grudge Raiders, serving as a flying fortress to carry overwhelming amounts of firepower into the lines, as well as handy beer hall to keep the pilots inebriated enough to consider flying such a dangerous contraption. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. This all this sounds like a good idea. From a gameplay perspective, from an actual person's perspective, no, this is incredibly dangerous. Like, I wonder if they can consider this as part of Slayer units. I would say yes, in many regards. Okay, now let's legacy updates. Channels for the show kind of showcase and introduction of the Nemesis crown. Okay. So that'll be at the end, but let's look at this. All right, let's look at the shortcomings. I like what they did with the system here. They look at the shortcomings, and then they look at the solutions for the shortcomings. That's a good idea. It gets the developer, the people who are working on these updates, to focus on what's important, which is what the main issues were from the community and from what they've noticed themselves, and sort of work on it and make it more palatable for new players or people who are just returning the game and who want to play some more. Yeah, this is a good idea. So let's start with the first thing. Grudges aren't as rewarding as they could be in the current system. Yeah, I can understand that. It's just sort of like, yeah, I get like a minor reward. That's nice. I mean, the old system gave you a little bit of money, but even the older, like the first system they did, it was like, I wouldn't say bad, but it wasn't. It didn't feel like a good decision. Like once you got hit with enough problems, the grudges became more of an issue for you, and it just like slowed you down. Grudges being a series of missions also fell under utilize the mechanic. Yeah, oh well. And the feature using on the campaign needed some work. That's true. Grudges were not urgent as we have liked. A big fancy is having a right wrongs surrounding you, which you can't land with original system, which didn't quite land with. You know what? Yes, it didn't feel right with it. You needed some problems. They're not too many problems. Another issue is you could sometimes get stuck doing grudge missions you couldn't complete, which would unfairly tank your severity. But yeah, that would happen a lot in the old system, the first system, and in the old system. It's still a bit of a problem, and even in the newer system they came up with. But in this new system, let's see what they can do about that, shall we? What are we changing? Grudges will now present a full invisible campaign map. Any faction perform a hostile action against its horse counts earns a grudge. That sounds reasonable. As a dwarf player, attacking an army or settlement that has a grudge associated with it will reward you with a grudge value upon victory. So the longer the grudge goes, the better the. That sounds pretty good. Because attacking an army, yeah, because that's like a huge thing, and you get like a minor reward. Like you got you got like 100 coins and 1 oath gold. Like no, that's. And I fought an epic, tiresome battle that cost me a lot of troops, time, effort. It caused me to divert the army. It really is a good idea that adjusted the values for that. In the system, Age of Reckoning. Ooh, Age of Reckoning. Every 10 turns, the dwarves will have a target number of grudges that must be resolved, and a percentage of those grudges have been taken care of at the time of the reckoning will be correspond with certain rewards. Clearing a high number of grudges will result in buffs. New grudge settler units, and even a temporary grudge settler armor that at the highest ranks, but low performance during the age will come with penalties. You know what? That's fair. Much like the Greenskins wall mechanic, where you do well, you get a new army, you get like a buffs to the army, to your entire faction overall. You also got new armies, you got new abilities, you got new buffs, and it felt like you got rewarded by playing more Greenskinny, with more violence and more brutality. But with the dwarves, they need like a reward for holding on to grudges, going on Age of Reckoning, declaring multiple wars. They needed something that got them to play less defensively and more aggressively. And I think Age of Reckoning might be the thing that gets them to do that. Because if you declare war now in the current system, you get grudges, in the battles and them taking your settlements and armies and stuff like that. And that's more becomes a more of a detriment to you as time goes on. Legendary gadgets can also be available in grand missions that benefit the entire dwarven culture when resolved. For example, taking the fight to Skaven Blight and Hell Pit will reward you with a unique army ability to summon dwarf miners in your own territory now that they are no longer under threat of Skaven attack. Or you may also attempt to rebuild Karzak on Core, unlocking the Underway travel network, which allows fast travel between Karaks. Wow. So you'll be super fast with your Underway if you take out Karzak and Core and just take it. Like, this like really gets you to target the Skaven, gets you targeting the Greenskin, because I think they have Karzak and Core in their area. Like, if you like declare war on the Skaven and the Greenskins, effectively you'll get bonuses. That's great. Taking out Skaven Blight should be a target, but sort of like, what's the point of that? But taking out Hellblight will also be a target now, because does it have to be both or does it have to be one? I think it has to be both, because they said and. Yeah, that should get you to fight wars to try and get rid of the Skaven. Oh, that's going to be great late game. That's such a great late game bonus. Like, currently we don't have that many great late game bonuses, but giving us that'd be excellent. Can be earned by outgrudging your fellow legendary lords. After exceeding the amount of grudges another lord has earned, plus additional amount, you can confederate the other factions via Book of Grudges panel. We feel that this new system of grudge expands upon fantasy you expect him from. Yeah. All that sounds good. Down on a tree for masses, so much so that it can be tricky to keep track of the entire. What would change? I wanted to remove tech from the doors. We've now split the original tree into two tabs. The guild tab and the clan tab, respectively, done a full soup of all effects. That's good. Yeah, it was hard to keep interest with the technology tree. The technology tree was too big. Giving us two different things to focus on, that might be better than giving us this big thing that's just a wall of text. So much more better. Building chains. We're making some tweaks to dwarven chains. Building 5. The traders will rent oath gold every turn. Okay. Oath gold is huge because you need it for other stuff. Oath gold was before change quite tricky to play around. You often had a little, or on the other hand, more than you could need. This changed should help alleviate the stress. What are we changing? We've the forged items and done a full polish pass to make them advance at smaller increments. Tutorials and update. Okay. Polish to advance smaller increments so that you always feel like it's items. Okay. All that sounds great. I want to see the video before I make any stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a great update. Right? And I also want to play it before I give it the final, yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. It's been a pleasure as always.